Hi guys! In this video I will show you how to create smoother lines by using the freehand brush tool in Krita. With this knowledge you can create straighter lines with less jagged edges. I will demonstrate this using a mouse to show you how to smooth your lines even with a shaky device. First, select the brush tool from the toolbar here on the left side. You can also use the shortcut by pressing B to access the freehand brush. Choose any brush preset from the preset docker. The stabilizer works with all of them. Then check if your chosen brush has the option to toggle anti-alias on and off. The anti-alias option is helpful in line smoothing as it removes jagged edges from the brush strokes. In order to find and activate the anti-alias option, go to the brush settings here in the top settings bar. As you can see, for the brush type I chose, there is no anti-alias option. But if I change the brush type by clicking on the presets tab, which is the arrow here, I can see that, for example, this brush has an anti-alias option, which in this case is already activated. I am now going to draw a line without any smoothing help here. This is what it looks like. The anti-alias option helps prevent the small jagged edges, but my line looks still shaky. To get a less shaky line, you can use the brush smoothing effect, here in the tool options docker on the right side. The brush smoothing option has a drop-down menu next to it. There are a few options, which I will explain in the detail in the next section. For now, select stabilizer from the options. Then increase the sample count and the delay sliders by moving them to the right side. The higher these two options are set, the more smoothing the brush will have. Remember that the smoother the brush is set, the more lag you will get while drawing. I will set my sample count to about 300 and my delay about 60. This large circle around your brush tip, which you can see now, indicates the amount of delay on your brush. This means that you have to click and drag onto your canvas all the way to the outer line of the circle until the brush actually starts moving. You can clearly see now the difference between the two lines I have drawn with and without a stabilizer. Let's look a bit deeper into the different settings now. While the sample count shows you the strength of the smoothing, the delay setting determines the amount of dead zone that sits around the cursor. So adjust this zone when you want to have more control when creating sharp corners. If you want to make sure that the line is finished automatically, be sure to check the finish line option. Use the stabilize sensor settings to ensure the input, including the speed, tilt and pressure, is smoother. The stabilize smoothing option is the most extreme of the options, especially when setting the sample count and delay relatively high. This option may slow down the brush stroke too much for your workflow. However, there are other options to choose from which may work better for your project. Here are the various options and the available settings. For example, we also have the basic smoothing here in the drop-down, and it applies a slight amount of smoothing to the brush to remove hints of jaggedness. This setting works best for smoothing the input from older tablets that create slightly jagged lines. You can use the weighted smoothing to control the amount of smoothing you want on your lines by either making the effect weaker or stronger. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.